Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the Old Dominion. We're at the Richmond Raceway tonight for some short track action here in the ASRS Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series. I'm Cameron Rich, joined here in the booth with Greg Renz and Carlos Coffman. Man, those cameras as always. For those of you guys that missed it last week, we saw John Jenkins take the win at the Auto Club Speedway in a thrilling battle. It's his first win in the ASRS Truck Series and ASRS League as a whole. But we've got 125 laps of short track action for you tonight. Should be really fun. This track is a really popular track for drivers and fans alike. It's kind of like a smaller version of what we were at last week, the Auto Club Speedway. In a sense, it's the same shape, just a lot smaller, and we're going to see a lot of bumping and banging with these trucks. But, you know, I'm a huge fan of short track racing, Greg, and I know you probably are. I think you actually do a short track racing yourself a lot. So what do you think we're going to see tonight here?
I think tonight's race is definitely going to be the key for this race is, I apologize, the key is going to be keeping your patience, because this track is notorious for being rough on the caution laps, as a lot of times we see a lot of caution laps at this race, and good old-fashioned short track beating and banging, very common at this racetrack like you mentioned. And I think tonight's race is key for this, and what I'm expecting to see. We're going to need to see some patience out of these guys, because this track, if you're not careful, it'll bite you in a hurry.
Absolutely. One of the things that is very notorious with the Richmond Raceway in particular is rear tires. They tend to kind of... this track, for some reason, just the way it is, the pavement or just the layout itself, it tends to eat those rear tires. And, you know, once those go, you have one hell of a time trying to control that truck. And we saw that in practice here tonight. Actually, Will Worsler at the top of the boards right now with a 22.073, followed by Evan Black and Corey Silva. Will Worsler has a couple wins on the Cup side of things here. Not able to notch a win in the trucks just yet, but he is quite down in the standings right now. I'm looking at 19th in the standings. You know, not somewhere where we would expect a driver of his caliber to be. So he needs to. Tonight is really a opportunity to kind of get his season back into the right direction, and he's definitely done that tonight. He has shown that he is fast, at least for one lap. He's the pole sitter from last week and led some laps there and everything, but just has not been able to keep the speed throughout the races. So if he can do that tonight, definitely going to be a what he needs to do. But we did see in practice a little bit, these trucks are a little bit loose off the corners. I saw some accidents, particularly off turns 2 and 4, where the trucks just get light in the rear end, and that's really going to be a key tonight, just keeping that rear end underneath you, because we, like you said, Greg, cautions, they do come by here quite a bit, and definitely if that starts happening a bit, we're going to see a lot of caution laps tonight.
And another thing that comes along with those cautions, if you want to be successful in a race with a lot of cautions, you're going to want to have a lot of short run speed in your truck, because those are going to be the key in this one. The long run, not necessarily as important as it would be at some other tracks as it is here, because, like we mentioned, the amount of cautions that fly here can definitely hinder those long runs. So if you want to be successful at Richmond, I think you need to have a lot of short run speed in your truck to really try to be competitive, just with the sheer amount of cautions that this track tends to breed.
Absolutely. About 10 seconds left to go in practice here. No trucks on the track as of the moment. You see right there the Dominion Tower that was built here in 2007. I've been at the top of that. You kind of see all the city of Richmond there, but it's a very beautiful track. You know, old school-ish, but you know, really cool to be here. It is my home track, so I kind of just have to kind of gush over it a little bit. But there's a little drain right there in the infield. I think that's there in real life. It might be still there. Yeah, who knows? But these guys are going to get to qualifying right now. Qualifying, we got 10 minutes of qualifying. So these drivers are all going to want to try to get the best lap in, try to start near the front, because it is quite tough to pass here. You know, this is a short track, and you will see bumping and banging, but you really need to start as close to the front as you can. There's Andy Veltman in the 97 machine going out for his lap in that orange and white colored machine, and there's the number 20 car. That is Devin Serra. We saw him get a couple of wins early on the season. He was the winner at Martinsville and Texas, so kind of showing that he could win on the short tracks and the bigger tracks. So we'll see how he does tonight, going out in his qualifying lap. And ooh, right there you see what we were talking about just a moment ago, that looseness. This is a very loose setup, it seems. A lot of these drivers having trouble with that. Saw him just kind of nose it into the wall there pretty hard, so definitely going to be something to watch for in the race.
For sure. I mean, that's definitely not the lap he wanted. I mean, as you mentioned, a couple wins on the year, including one right here in the state of Virginia and the other short track here, Martinsville. So he was definitely coming into this one hoping to try to sweep the Virginia races, but definitely not off to the good start. Is that 20 truck. Right now, looks like the 45 of Curling at the top at a 22.272. As I say that, Seville goes to the top, 22.088, Cam.
Yeah, that's a pretty good lap for Seville right there. That was about what we saw Will Worsler run in practice, just a couple hundredths off of that time, but a very good lap nonetheless, and he is exactly 1/10 quicker than the second place driver, Edward Bray, right now, who has run a 22.187. There's number 25 on the track. That's Chris Titus. He is 7th on the board right now with a 22.427. I like that number. That's an engine size. It's pretty cool to see that. But there's number 98, the sponsor of the series right there, Sam Maxwell, on his lap. See what he can do. I think he was able to get a notch at top 10 last week at the Auto Club Speedway. Had a pretty good battle there at the end that we saw here. But Corey Silva to the top of the board, 22.059, fastest lap of the weekend for him. So that is a very fast lap.
And the one race for these guys that I called, which was earlier this year at Darlington, Silva had a lot of speed in that race as well. So can't say I'm very surprised to see Silva tracking up here near the top, or at the top, I should say, as we're a couple minutes into this qualifying session.
There's number 35, Kelsey Rogers, having some issues. Got loose off turn number 4, I believe that was. So we're definitely seeing that looseness of this setup come into play. We've seen a couple of drivers spin in qualifying already, so definitely these guys they know that they're going to have to kind of find a way to control that in the race, because you just can't go in the race with the truck being as unstable it is and think you're going to be successful without finding a way to drive around that. So definitely that's on all of these guys' mind right now. That's Lee Staples in the 26 machine coming to complete his lap. We'll see where he goes. Ooh, Evan Black in the 92 putting up a really fast lap, a 21.9, first driver in the weekend that we've seen get into the 21-second bracket right now. Very quick lap. He beats out Mitch Brown for the time being. 6 minutes left to go in qualifying. I do believe once most of these drivers do run, we will advance to the race. But one latecomer to the session, John Jenkins, our winner last week, did not put a practice lap in. So probably not the way he wanted to start off this weekend, but definitely he showed last week that he can get it done. So I think he will be just fine. There's number 69 machine on track right now. That is John Jenkins himself. We'll see where he goes. That's his first lap of the weekend. Puts him in 9th position. So pretty good run there, not having any laps on the weekend right now, and clicking off a top 10 run to start off the race. So that's very impressive to see that.
And I'm impressed with the margin between the top 15 you see on the ticker right now. Top 15 separated by just 0.3 of a second, and it looks like that continues down into the 20th position. It's just another 10th back to there. So this is a very, very tight field right now. I'm looking forward to this race just based off that, because with trucks that close together in qualifying, that usually equals out that they're pretty even on the racing side of things as well. So I think this is going to be a fun race, and that could make things a little bit difficult to pass. So we mentioned before how important track position was here. With how close this qualifying session is, may even be a little bit better as the 24 catches the wall a little bit.
Yeah, you see him. He got a little bit loose in a turn 1 there as well. Had some issues, nicked the wall off the start-finish line. So I think that's going to disqualify this lap he's running now. But you kind of see how these drivers are running the track. It's you swing out wide here off turn 4 up to that start-finish line, get it right up next to that wall. Then you want to kind of arc it into turn 1 here. It's a D shape. It really is a D shape. Oh, he goes 24, so he was able to get that lap in. So 24 for the 24 of Alan Young, but it's very different track to drive than most. It's something that some drivers kind of just figure out, and some that they just kind of don't. So definitely, it's a driver's track, and it's very technique oriented in that there's a couple ways to drive it, but some have it and some don't.
So we'll see what happens with this one because, like you mentioned, very technical track, and like you mentioned, the driving styles vary so much at this racetrack. There's a couple different ways, like you said, and I'm really curious to see if Evan Black in the 92, if his quick time holds up. I'm curious to see just how much he changes his driving style over the course of the day, because you can go out and nail a 2-lap qualifying run easily, but a 125 lap race, especially at this track, you're going to have to make adjustments as time goes on, as other drivers adjust to try to track you down. So he's the one I'm going to be keeping my eye on the most, is just based off the fact that he is the only one to go a 21 right now. I'm curious to see what changes he makes to his driving style as the night goes on.
Yeah, very well. And this track does change over the course of a run. It's actually quite hot here, 88 degrees in the nighttime. So I do think that the track is going to develop a high line, and at least in turns 3 and 4. That usually is what happens on the iRacing surface when the surface is a little bit hotter here at the Richmond Raceway. So I think we will see those trucks move up a little bit on that end of the speedway. I'm not sure what will happen in turn 1. I think turn 1 will be mostly bottom feeding, but I think through 3 and 4 we will see trucks move up and get some multi-groove racing in. It's always really cool to see that here. This track has aged pretty well over the years, and definitely the higher groove on the racetrack has come into play. And we've seen that in the real life races as well, where people, you see them run next to the wall almost, or in that Kyle Larson line. So pretty cool to see that. I hope we see that tonight. It's always cool to see that.
Always fun, and it's so important to be able to keep your truck running on both lines, or every line, I should say, especially here at Richmond, because there's just so many grooves, so many ways you can do it. I really think this is going to be a fun race here tonight.
And I don't see anyone else on track right now, so we might be going to, I think we're just going to go ahead and run the last 2 minutes out of the session, but nobody on the speedway right now, so we're going to just look at the grandstands here again. That's the Dominion Tower, and it's a kind of a shame that most of these grandstands that you see right here on the service are no longer there. Whole backstretch is gone. So this track was scanned in about 2010 or 2009-ish. So, that's kind of how it was back then, but it's not that way anymore. But either way, this is what we got, and it is still the same racetrack as far as the shape and the surface goes. So, it is what it is, really.
And this is one of the most popular stops on the NASCAR tour throughout the course of the year. 2 stops at this track. And for the longest time, this was the cutoff race to the beginning of the chase or the playoffs, whichever it was at that particular time. No longer the case, as it's now in the playoffs. But, this is one of the key stops. A lot of drivers chalk this one up as one of the ones they want to win, and it's no different here tonight. These guys are going to be hunting for a win here at Richmond tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing how 125 laps unfolds as we are inside the final minute of qualifying.
Absolutely, Greg, and as a native of this area, I can tell you that another popular reason to stop here is because there are so many breweries in this area. So, you got to think the winner tonight's going to be probably going over there and hitting one of those up, because I know I would. There's quite a bit of breweries. Richmond's a very kind of hipster city. It has turned into that, at least since I've been here. So definitely a pretty cool place to go and just do things at. But about 10 seconds left to go in practice here. Actually, that's 15. And still don't know my numbers up here in the booth. You would have thought I would have learned that by now, but it looks like that Evan Black is going to be well and truly your pole sitter tonight. Nobody else on track to challenge him. And indeed, yes, he will be the pole sitter by over a tenth of a second. So that's a very impressive lap time that he was able to put out there. Only driver in the 21s so far tonight. So you got to think that he probably is the favorite to win. I don't believe he's notched a win in the Truck Series yet. No, he has not. So definitely going to try to go out there and get his first win of the night tonight here at Richmond. We'll get the starting grid up here for you in just a moment as these drivers buckle into their cars.
Our drivers getting set. Here is your starting grid, and Cameron Evan Black, like you mentioned, he's rolling off on the pole in the Chevy. To his outside, the 51 of Mitch Brown to his outside on row number 1.
Row number 2, we have Corey Silva in the 94 machine and Will Worsler starting in 4th.
Tyler Seville, good qualifying effort for him with Jared Mogard in the double aught to the outside.
Row number 4, we got Alex Giese in the number 7 machine, or 77, excuse me, and Kelsey Rogers in the 35.
John Jenkins, last week's winner at Auto Club, rolling off in 9th in row number 5. To his outside, Edward Bray rounds out the top 10.
Starting in 11th, we have number 26 of Lee Staples and Richard Stallings in the 17.
Dan Deffler in the number 88 Toyota rolls off alongside Sam Maxwell in the 98 Chevrolet.
In 15th, we got the 45 of Nick Curling and Christopher Lane to his outside, 16th place.
Alexander Pelican rolling off in the number 44 with Jim Foose to his outside in row number 9.
Starting in 19th, we have the number 36 machine of Ty Hester, and to his outside, the number 93 of Brandon Krutz.
Jack Wells and Chris Titus make up row 11 in two Chevys.
Starting in 23rd, we have the number 3 machine of Pete Baskins, and to his outside, number 24 of Alan Young.
Row 13 features Andy Veltman and Steve Buhala.
Starting in 26th, we have, 27th, we have Devin Sarah. Nick Coffman rolls off 28th, Tim Knott 29th, Jamie Moore in 30th, and Jared Haggerty in 31st. All of those drivers not posting a time here tonight, but we've got 2 laps of pacing here. This is a short track, so give these drivers a bit of an opportunity to get their thoughts collected and kind of get their minds at the ready for 125 laps here. Greg, kind of just as a driver yourself, what would you be thinking kind of just before this kind of event tonight? What do you kind of want to get in your mind before we go green here?
Well, if I was a driver, I would really just be focusing on hitting my lines early and keeping my nose clean through the first 25 laps or so of this one. Really trying to settle into a rhythm and really trying to settle things down and control what I can around me and hope that whatever I can't control around me doesn't take me out of the equation early.
All about keeping that nose clean here tonight. This is a short track, but this is a very fast short track, so really you don't want to get any damage. Speedway type racetrack, but coming out of turn number 2 here, the whole field is. We're doubled up, ready to go. Evan Black at the ready, Mitch Brown at the ready, and everybody else behind them ready to go. See if they can do something on this restart through 3 and 4. The pace car about to make that hard left onto pit road here. Pit road is quite a tough challenge, so we get green flag stops tonight. We'll definitely have to wait and see how that happens, but it is off, and we're definitely getting ready to go green here. Green flag is out. That flagman has thrown it out. Mitch Brown gets a very good restart on that outside line. We'll see if we can hold it through turns 1 and 2, but it looks like Evan Black did actually get going a little bit better. We have 3 wide almost with Will Worsler. Will Worsler loose through turn 2 there, but was able to hold it onto it, but he is losing track position left and right. He was passed by the 00 of Jared Mogard as well as Kelsey Rogers. So not the start he wanted to get, but at least he did wreck his truck, Greg.
Yeah, definitely scary moment on the start of that one for Worsler. That's exactly the start you don't want to have, especially here at Richmond, because like we mentioned just before we went green, you want to try to get into a rhythm early, and something like that could really throw you off your game. But one guy who's not off his game is the 94 of Silva, as he has gotten around the 92 of Black. He leads the lap at the line.
Yeah, and that brought Mitch Brown into the fight as well. Mitch Brown looking to get under that number 92, see if he can make his way to second. But that outside line is able to hold its position. You see Evan Black was able to hold Mitch Brown off there and keep his momentum up off the corner. So I might have been wrong in what I said. The high side looks like it's pretty strong through 1 and 2 right now. Not really seeing anybody through 3 and 4 just yet. But that 00 that Jared Mogard looked under Mitch Brown there in turn 1 and 2, but was able to not do anything with it. We're single file throughout the first few. Ooh, we have a crash back in the pack. Somebody on their side.
Man, we got a few trucks around here and a lot of damage to some of them. I see the 45, I believe that was the 97, 43's on pit road. Cam, let's take a look at what happened.
Yeah, it looks like the 45 was out of shape through 1 and 2 and just kind of He knows it in the wall, but there was a secondary accident there with the number 3 of Pete Baskins, who kind of just was not able to slow up in time, and that really looks like that was really bad for 97 Andy Beltman. He's already retired from the race, so a lot of damage to that machine, not what he wanted to see.
And on board here, and you see just the collection, just all kinds of stuff as the 43 hits the wall, and he gets a lot of it there. But I was very impressed with that 88 truck, how he was able to get through that, just with the 45 spinning right in front of him, nowhere to go, but he made room and found a place to go. Got through. Great job there by the 88 truck.
Yeah, it is quite hard to avoid wrecks here just because you're going so fast on such a small track. So a very good job by him. If only are going to elect to come to pit road. Excuse me. I got my mixed up words a little bit. But tires, really, Greg. Tires are important here, but they're also not. But I have to imagine with the temperature we're running at 80, actually we're at 89 degrees track temperature right now. A little bit more important that you usually see at a night race where the track surface is in the 60s or so. But you know, this is not a track like Darlington or Atlanta where tires will absolutely kill you. But you know, tires are always important, and here the surface is relatively it's not that bad on tires, but definitely you know, tires always going to be a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, a track like Darlington or Atlanta, you're going to want to be stopping every single chance you get. Every yellow flag, you're going to want 4 fresh tires. But here, not as important, but like you mentioned, with the track temp a little bit higher, the heat is going to help wear these tires off a little bit more, and they'll really start slipping around a little bit more quickly than we would normally see here in Richmond. So tires will definitely come into play at some point throughout the race. I just don't think it's going to be that important just yet. I think we're going to need to see at least one relatively long green flag run before it really starts coming into play.
Yeah, it's going to take about a 20, 30, 40 lap run to really get those tires really angry, but you know, 5 laps we ran there under green. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, but obviously we saw most of the front runners not pit, so if you're in the back, probably 20th on back, there's really no penalty to pitting, because if anything you would lose just a few spots, but we're at the front, not really the case. And I think we're definitely going to have one stop tonight. I think fuel run here is about 100 laps plus or minus 10. I'm not exactly sure, but definitely going to have to stop here at least once for fuel. So you know, definitely we'll just take tires and probably just split the race in 2 if we are able to go green.
We'll see how strategy unfolds, and we'll see how strategy changes throughout the course of the day with how the race goes as we get the 1 to green, and Silva is going to bring us back to the green flag this time by, and he was able to make the bottom work to get around Brown, or Black, I'm sorry, right before that caution came out. So he's got what I think might be the preferred line for now. But we're going to try this again. 9 laps on the board right now. And Cameron, they're coming to green.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the outside line is able to get going. Evan Black there was your pole sitter, but he got passed by Corey Silva there. Pace car off. We'll see what he can do on the outside line there. And the inside line gets going very well. Corey Silva got a great restart there in the 94. Evan Black not able to do anything with him. We're still 2 wide behind them. Mitch Brown able to hold off Jared Mogard for the time being on that bottom side. I think that will be the preferred group all night tonight on the restarts, at least, when they do get single file for about the first 5 spots. As I say that, Jared Mogard says he wants to get around Mitch Brown, and we have a battle for the 3rd spot. Evan Black has not let Corey Silva go either. He's right on his back bumper for the time being. Looks like Jared Mogard able to do something with Mitch Brown. He was able to get around him and move into the 3rd spot. Kelsey Rogers looking on Mitch Brown now as well. Greg?
And remember, Mogard, he was taking the peak to the inside of Brown when that caution came out. He was really starting to look low. So maybe the 51 not quite hugging the bottom as much as he wants, because Mogard is able to get in there. And now the 35 also able to peek his nose in there. But Mogard's making a move for the front as we take a look back deep in the pack. Alan Young battling out on the outside there, trying to make his way back through the field. Stallings in the 17 as well, so action all over the place in the early stages here, Cameron.
Yeah, that was Alan Young and Chris Titus going at it behind Jim Foose there. Right there, there's the number 17 machine. That is Richard Stallings. He's back in the 18th spot. So, like you said, Greg, battles all over this racetrack. We're going to see this all night. Just really, I thought I saw 3 wide behind there. The 93 of Krutz looked like he was going to make 3 wide. Very close there off the corner. Ooh, the rubbing a lot there. He is in the wall and in the air, flipping over. That's a pretty big accident right there.
Yeah, that is a huge accident.
We saw that happening kind of in real time, just not sure what happened. We'll have to go back and watch the replay, but looks like they just really didn't give each other any room there off turn number 4. I want to say that the 01 of Lane kind of came down into his bumper there, but really, I can't really make that judgment call, but definitely no room given there, and you saw the end result there, Greg.
Yeah, for sure, and right there you see the contact, and away we went. So, definitely not the night these guys wanted, and like we mentioned, Cameron, here we go again with Richmond, these short runs, and looks like everybody's coming to pit road now.
I think we just found the sweet spot where pit stops will be a thing, about 10-15 laps, and definitely the whole field coming down pit road. So pace car out on the track by itself, very lonely right now. He's probably got "I'm so lonely" on the radio, but definitely all these guys coming to pit road. Going to be really important to get in your box smoothly and very efficiently, because the pit stalls are not very big here, and this curved pit road is quite a challenge to get right if you're right there on that 5th, 6th, 7th spot where it is curved. But it's like Corey Silva, that's a couple numbers higher, was able to beat Evan Black off pit road, followed by Jared Mogard. They came into pit road, or off pit road, as they came in for the most part.
Yeah, maybe a couple difference in position here or there, but all in all, not too much of a change up front. Corey Silva able to get off with the lead. 17 laps in the book. Silva has led the most. However, most of them have been under caution, as I think both runs we've only been able to get 4 or 5 laps before we had problems.
Yeah, it's certainly seeming that way, Greg, and there is a saying in racing, cautions breed cautions, and then a short track, that is no more true than anywhere else. Definitely, if we keep getting cautions, of course, if we do keep getting cautions, we do keep getting cautions, because that's what cautions are, but really that saying does hold true, especially at a track like this, where, as you kind of saw there before the caution, they were very close racing. It's really hard to get away from someone here, especially in these trucks at this track. It's just you're kind of always bunched up with each other, and it's just hard to kind of get away from someone.
And I expect just to see more of that as the night goes on, because we've already seen 2 short runs. That's another thing that could hinder the getting away from someone, is the amount of cautions that tend to fly here. So not only are you trying to get away from someone on a pretty difficult track to do so already, you're also fighting just how long your green flag run is going to be. It's going to be really hard for someone to really put some distance between these guys. The guy on the move so far has been the 00 of Mogard. He's up a few spots, up in the 3rd spot now. So I'm watching for him on this restart in the 00 to really try to make a move, because he knows his truck has shown probably the most speed, I would say, on the short run. I think this race could fall into Mogard's hands really, really nicely if he's able to keep his nose clean like this, 1 to green.
Yeah, definitely, and he is on that bottom side of the track for the restart, so I think he might be able to get that 92 of Evan Black, who is on the top side right there. He might be able to get him on the restart here if he's able to get a good restart. Maybe if Evan doesn't get going very well, that outside is a bit tough to get going, but we are doubled up here, ready to go. The pace car, we are working caution number 2, I believe, so about a typical Richmond race so far, but the pace car is off. We'll see what these guys do one more time. Doubled up, ready to go. Good restart there for Corey Silva. He is able to put a car length and a half on Evan Black, able to move immediately up in front of him. Looks like Jared Mogard was not able to do anything with Black, but he was able to stay in front of Mitch Brown. So we're single file up here in the top 5. First battle for position there is at number 69 of John Jenkins going on Will Worsler. John Jenkins is on the move right now. He's up a few spots, starting from 9th, able to get the nose on Worsler. Worsler falling back a little bit. That's kind of what we saw last week at the Auto Cup Speedway. He was not able to hold that speed on a long run, but definitely we have not gotten that yet in this race, but might have a battle for the lead here. 92 Evan Black looking on Corey Silva, not able to do anything with it. We'll see how that high side works in 3 and 4. It looks like Corey Silva might be able to hold it 3 wide almost here for the lead. Jared Mogard says he wants to get in the battle with Evan Black as well, see if he can do anything with it, but definitely a lot of racing here in the time being. Greg?
That was perfectly done there by both 94 and 00, as Silva realized that he was stuck on the outside. He had to do something to make it work, and he did just that. But look at what a run by Mogard. I think the 94 had a problem off turn number 4 because Mogard just flew around him on the outside. I think that was the first position pass we've seen on the outside so far. Mogard to the lead, as now Evan Black goes back to work on Corey Silva. Now for the second spot, Mitch Brown in there as well. We go on board with the 92, trying to track down the early leader Silva. But man, oh man, what a power move by Mogard on the outside there.
That was a textbook Richmond outside pass. But I think like you said, Greg, the 94 did have a little bit of an issue off turn number 4, a little bit loose. I think had to get out of the gas, and that just allowed Jared to get that huge run. And he definitely has gapped the 94 by about 3.5 tenths right now. That's the biggest lead we've seen all race, surprisingly enough. Like we were talking about, you can't get away from anyone. But that is definitely he showed. Ooh, that's 24 right there in the grass. Alan Young having some issues on the front stretch. No caution, though. We'll see what happened here on the replay. It's like he might have just got loose. I don't see anyone around him. Yes, he did. That was a very late place to get loose there. Just kind of looks like he never gathered it up after getting just a little bit sideways. But no harm, no foul, no damage on that machine. He'll get it right back and get going here. Here's the 69 of Jenkins and Kelsey Rogers going at it. That's for the 5th spot. We saw Jenkins is our winner from last week. Definitely has a lot of speed in that truck. Did not practice at all, but was able to qualify pretty well. There's Will Worsler behind Jenkins. Let's see if he can do anything on the outside, but it's like Jenkins is going to hold that spot right now. So we're single file up here through about the first 10 spots. Will Worsler kind of looking on Jenkins a little bit, see if he can do anything on that inside line into turn 3. It's a little bit tight there, but these guys giving each other plenty of room. Good to see that. Good clean racing here at the time being. And Will Worsler not able to do anything with Jenkins just yet, Greg.
Yeah, it was a good move by Worsler to get to the bottom, because we've seen that the 69 of Jenkins has been really strong on the bottom. Haven't really seen what the 29 has on the bottom, so that was a good move by him to get down to the bottom and really kind of show that, hey, I can contend with you in the 69. I just got to be able to get a run at you. As now he kind of backs off. I think he may be cooling his tires off and maybe kind of just going to school on the 69 of Jenkins and setting up another run. But back up front, a battle beginning to brew for the lead as Silva is catching back up to Mogard, and Silva's taking a peek on the bottom as well.
Yeah, it looks like that, ooh yeah, right there, battle for the lead. Corey Silva get on the inside of Mogard, so definitely not letting him get anywhere on the racetrack. But we'll see if Jared Mogard does a good job to hold that outside line and hold Silva off for the time being. Got a great run off turn number 2, so he's going to pull back on the inside in turn 3 and 4. So not able to hold or take the lead back yet, Corey Silva, but definitely showing that he is in the hunt.
Great job by Silva to catch back up to Mogard, but Mogard doing a great job playing defense right now to keep Silva at bay. He's able to open up a truck length and a half on Silva, but Silva looks really good through 3 and 4. I think if he wants to make his move, it's got to be from 3 and 4 towards turn number 1, because right now I think that's the strong point for the 94 truck, as you see Mogard again able to open it up a little bit, but right here so far, I think this is the 94's strong point. As you see him close up again, you see the gap just 0.2 of a second off turn number 4. Let's see how it goes into turn number 1.
Yeah, and if you notice right there, Greg, it looks like the 00 is running a little bit higher intentionally in 1 and 2, and that might be getting him a good run off the corner. You see him kind of gap the 94 a little bit when the 94 catches him back up in 3 and 4. Actually, not this lap. Looks like Mogard was pretty good on that end of the speedway as well. So Mogard doing a good job of looking in his mirror at that 94 and seeing what he's doing, kind of just taking his line away. And you see right there, it looks like that the preferred groove right now is to kind of late apex 1 and 2, kind of not really run on that yellow line, just kind of hit it on the exit of the corner. But definitely cool to see what kind of different lines these guys are running right now.
And I'm curious if Silva is going to change his line or just stick with what is working for him right now, because he's clearly stronger in 3 and 4. But right there, as they come through turn number 2 off exit, that is where the 00 Mogard is definitely stronger, as Jenkins has gotten around Kelsey Rogers in the 35. Now Worsler going to work, getting right up to the back bumper of Rogers, but Rogers able to put a little bit of a gap between himself and Worsler down the front stretch into turn number 1. 29, he's kind of doing the same thing as Silva. He's kind of running like half a groove lower to see if he can really get a run. It almost looks like it's the identical situation, and he's able to really make his move right here. We'll see as another battle breaks out deep in the field.
Yeah, that's Sam Maxwell and Dan Deffler going at it for, I believe that's the 10th spot. So Sam Maxwell has it right now. Dan Deffler wants it back. He just lost it. And Maxwell on that high side, going to get that run off turn number 2. There's Jim Foose right behind them. Kind of racing injured a little bit from last week, but still coming out here and grinding it out. We're still battling here. And the battle for the lead still not going away. Jared Mogard is kind of running a little. Looks like he, real high off too. I thought that Silva was going to have this opportunity, but he might have ran up there intentionally. But definitely, the groove is moving up a little bit. But here comes Corey Silva below Jared Mogard. Got the really good run through turn 3 and 4. Not able to get the lead just yet, but he's going to drive it off into 1 on the bottom side and gets a little bit loose. It looks like. But I think he might have the run off 2 here to get in front of Mogard. But Mogard doing a good job to keep his momentum up and not allow Silva to have much of a run. We're going to see him hold Silva tight off turn 4. Silva gets loose, and that allows Mogard to, I believe he held the lead. No, he did not. 16 1/1000th of a second difference there for Corey Silva. But good racing here at the front, Greg.
Yeah, this is outstanding racing between Silva and Mogard. We're not even halfway in this one. And don't look now, because the 92 of Evan Black is beginning to creep his way into this picture as well. As these two continue the battle side by side, Black can just go to work on catching up to him, and he's doing exactly that. Mogard led the lap at the line, and now lap traffic's going to come into play. The entire complexion of this battle is about to change as soon as they catch up to this guy.
Yeah, that's Pete Baskins. He was in the first accident of the race. A little bit damage on that truck. See where he goes, because that will determine who gets an advantage here between this battle of Mogard and Silva. I believe he's going to stay high on the racetrack, so that might prove to the detriment of Mogard, and he stays well out of the way, was able to stay well out of the way for these two drivers. So good on that to see that. Mogard actually was able to gain time on Silva through that. He actually, that side-by-side battle was ended, and Silva the benefactor of it. But here comes Silva again on the bottom. Ooh, very loose there. I think that's I think that might be why we're seeing Jared Mogard run higher on the track, because it's allowing him to not get the truck as loose as he would be on the bottom side. And we talked about early on, or in the pre-race, excuse me, those rear tires, once they go at this track, they don't come back ever, and you really just have a hard time hooking them up again.
Yeah, so smart move by Mogard, I would say, to run a little bit higher and save his tires, but Silva's proven that it's not going away as bad as one would think, because he's still able to get up there and contend with Mogard, and here he is making another run at him as Black, Brown, and Jenkins try to close in as well. But right there, you see Silva still running the bottom, and he's still making it work as he gets to the back bumper, almost takes a swipe at Mogard. But Mogard just so strong right here through this part of the track. Just incredible racing so far here between Mogard and Silva, as the rest of the field kind of goes to school. And at this point, if you're Evan Black in the 92, Mitch Brown in the 51, are you hoping one of the top two up there make a mistake, or are you just waiting for your chance to strike at this point?
I think if you're Evan Black, you definitely have shown that you have speed, at least for one lap. You probably just need to cool it off a little bit, let the battle kind of play out and see what you can do later on in it. You don't want to go up there and burn your tires up or do something like that. Here's Jim Foose battling with number 20, Devin Serra, who's got a couple wins on the season, as well as the 17 of Richard Stallings. So kind of a hornet's nest back here, battling for, I believe that is for 13th place. So this battle up here at the front, not going away either. Mogard and Silva not able to do anything with each other, really. Actually, the line in 3 and 4 is definitely moving up. Mogard and Silva both running on that middle groove. So I think track surface is 96 right now. My goodness, it has gotten a lot hotter since the start of the race. So I'm not sure what kind of weather we have here. Never seen Richmond this hot at night, but definitely a very hot night indeed. And it's definitely playing into some multi-groove racing very well.
And here comes Silva again on Mogard, but again, Mogard able to shut the door. And Silva puts the pressure on once again. As the track temp rises, the tires are going to go away quicker and quicker and quicker. And I think the one who recognized that more than anybody was the 51 of Mitch Brown, because he really backed off of the 92 of Evan Black and is not really contesting anything or really worrying about the 69 of Jenkins right now. He's kind of just running his own race, and you see him giving them the top side. So I think the 51 may have realized that he's going to need to save some tires for the run, as this is far and away the longest run of the night so far. I think the 51 really has gone into tire conservation mode, has Mitch Brown in the 51.
Yeah, and a little bit further back, we have a battle brewing for the 7th spot with Worsler and Kelsey Rogers. Or excuse me, that's for 6th. Well, as I say that, it kind of stops brewing up. But Will Worsler was able to get right on the back of Kelsey Rogers. Going to pull up really close in turn 3. He's driving it very hard into turn 3, but not able to get the run off to do anything with Kelsey Rogers. So definitely might want to try something different there. But here's Corey Silva and Mogard still going at it. These guys are not letting each other do anything whatsoever, and it's actually kind of impressive that really one of these has not able to get the advantage there. But very close there. We're on board with Corey Silva right now on the back bumper of Mogard. We'll see if he can do anything. Running higher in 1 and 2. Look at how high he is on the track, the whole group up. But see if he can get the good run off too. He does. Not able to do anything with it though. He might have had to get off the throttle, but definitely he is in striking distance very much right now.
I think he was watching Mogard's line. I think he realized that, hey, Mogard's stronger when he comes off the top, so I'm going to try it and even try it a little bit higher than him, and it seems to be working for the time being. Now he goes back to the run he was getting on the bottom. Almost worked, but there's a lap truck ahead of him. But he dive bombs turn 3 and he gets to the door. Could this be the move that puts Silva back in the lead?
Oh, he got loose there. It got very loose. I kind of saw that car kind of stepping out a little bit in the middle of the corner. I thought he might have been able to do something, but that definitely was a valiant effort to get around Mogard there, lapping Jared Haggerty here at the number 6 machine. He is damaged from that first accident as well. I think we saw that truck smoking actually. He is now 2 laps in. Ooh, Silva around on the front stretch. There is our 3rd caution of the evening right there.
And that is a heartbreak for Silva. He was running right up there, but he kept it going, so I don't know if he's going to lose a whole lot of ground. That could have been a lot worse. Let's take a look. Just got loose right in front of Haggerty, and Haggerty kind of just finished him off, but Silva did a great job to get the truck going. I think as far as position-wise, the damage is going to be minimal done to him as he got going before he lost a whole lot of ground.
Yeah, he actually slotted in just behind Will Worsler, so he's in 7th right now. A little bit of damage on the back of that truck on that right rear, just from getting hit by by Haggerty there, but not really going to affect him at all, I don't believe. So he's going to get tires on that truck, get it fueled up and ready to go, and he'll be well on his way. But that was really neither driver's fault, just a product of circumstance. Jared Haggerty was well in his right to run there on the track. Didn't go out there and try to wreck Corey Silva or anything. Corey just got a little bit loose, and it was just bad luck. So really nothing either driver could do. But we are under caution again, and we're going to re-rack the field and get going.
Taking a look at pit stops as Bogard gets going. Yeah, who won that race between Silva and Worsler?
I believe that was Worsler.
One of them. Right?
Yeah, one of them did.
We'll see who slots in line because that was a dead heat at the cone.
But really, that is about the best case scenario for Corey Silva, who was very much up there fighting for the lead, and to really spin out and cause a caution and only lose, 5 spots or so. It's about as best as you can get. So good to see that, and I believe he will definitely be back to fight for it as this night goes on.
Yeah, he's shown that he has long run speed in that 94 truck to go along with the short run speed that you need at this racetrack. So I think if we can get another long green flag run, I think that 94 is going to be making his way through the field. We have definitely not seen the last of Corey Silva in this one. 67 to go as soon as Mogart crosses the line here.
And while we are here under caution, just want to give a quick shout out to all of our chatters in the chat in the chat, yes. So we do read your messages. So thank you all for coming out to hang out with us and watch this race. We hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. I certainly am. Greg, I think you are too. And definitely these guys put on a good show, and it will probably only get better from here.
I definitely expect it to get better. That was an incredible battle between Mogard and Silva. Went pretty much the entire run there. And now some new challengers up there, including last week's winner, John Jenkins, up in the 4th spot. So Mogard, he might be able to breathe for just a moment, knowing he doesn't have to contend with the 94 of Silva anymore. But now he's got Black, Brown, Jenkins, and Rogers rounding out the top 5. So Mogard may be wishing that he was only Silva he had to contend with, because now he's got a couple other guys right on his heels.
Couple of wave rounds, Jared Haggerty, who was involved in that last caution, and Ty Hester taking the wave round to get 1 lap back. Jared going to be 1 lap down, and Ty Hester going to be 2 down, or excuse me, Ty Hester going to be on the lead lap. I'm not sure why I said 2 down, but they all taking the wave round, as well as Nick Curling, I believe, might be taking the wave round, or he might have been the lucky dog, but him getting 1 lap back as well. So all those were trucks in that first caution damages for as well. But pace car off here at the front. Jared Mogard is your leader and gets a great restart. He shot out of a cannon, absolutely left that 92 of Evan Black behind. Already has about a 2 truck length advantage on him, so not the restart that Evan Black really wanted. He probably wanted to keep on the bumper or the door of that 00, but did not lose a spot himself. Battle for 3rd with Mitch Brown and John Jenkins. John Jenkins on the outside line, see if he can do anything, but I believe Mitch Brown has it well and truly settled. John Jenkins actually gets in the wall a little bit, loses all of his momentum, going to get passed by Worsler, Rogers, and I think Corey Silva looking to do something with him as well. So you kind of just see what happens if you lose your momentum in these trucks. You really just lose everything, and it's hard to get it back. So Corey Silva looking on the bottom of Jenkins for that, I believe, 6th spot. And I think he might get it here off turn number 4, Greg.
At the line, he's going to have it. So last week's winner, Jenkins, just 1 slip up, and it cost him 2, possibly 3 positions. But the 69 truck fighting back on the outside, so Jenkins not really going away just yet. Single file in front of them, as that's the first battle on the track, and Silva still showing that great strength through 3 and 4 as another battle breaks out behind them. Battles beginning to break out deeper in the field.
Yeah, ooh, that 94 gets loose in 1 and 2, almost got into the 69. John Jenkins realized that, moved up the track, and was able to avoid a crash, but that definitely was a good piece of driving on both of their parts. Corey Silva running that bottom side around the racetrack. We've seen him get loose a few times, and that was almost a disaster there. But that brought Evan Serra into the battle. We have not talked about him all night, but he is going to be in the battle here for that 6th spot with Jenkins and Silva. And we know he's pretty good. He's got 2 wins on the series so far. Did not have a good qualifying. He actually did not qualify. I believe he starts 27th, but up to 8th. So a great run for that machine.
Yeah, I remember he was trying to get his qualifying lap in, but he bobbled and wound up nosing it head on into the wall. So good bounce back for that number 20 of Sarah as we continue to click laps away. Just a little bit past halfway now, I do believe, as we are at 60 laps to go, coming to 59 for Mogart contact between Stallings and the 98.
Yeah, it looks like the 17 of Stallings really never got on the brakes in the 3, just kind of drove in there and hit Sam Maxwell. Good job by Maxwell to keep it straight and level there, because that was a huge hit, but that did bunch it up behind them. Number 77 of Giese and as well as Staples and Young all able to get back into that fight, and a lot of side-by-side racing here back in.
Stallings getting it settled. Here comes Giese taking a move not on his outside. You can see Pelican back there as well in the 44 as that battle breaks out. Stallings able to put some distance between himself and this battle now. And there you see just the product of short track racing at Richmond. Couple trucks go to war in the rear view mirror of the truck in front of him, and the truck in front of him is able to pull away, but Giese able to break away from that battle now, and now he reels it back up to Stallings.
Yeah, you could put a blanket over these 5 or so trucks on your screen right now. They just cannot get away from here. It looks like pacing, but a little bit quicker. Kind of cool to see that kind of racing here. Look at that. Look at how close that Knott was holding the number 26 of Staples there. Very close there, but no contact. Good, clean racing here. And they have the battle between Pelican and Young behind them as well. So it's kind of nowhere to go for anyone. And you see Jim Foose there as well. He can't do anything at all unless he wants to take it 3 wide and take a risk there.
As the battle continues here between Knott on the outside. Several other trucks is not able to get the nose in front, but back on the inside, still battling. Great stuff here.
Not much has changed at the front. Jared Mogard still your leader by about 5/10 over Evan Black. Mitch Brown solidly in 3rd. Will Worsler able to hold Kelsey Rogers, and your new 6th place driver, Corey Silva, was able to get around John Jenkins. John Jenkins actually fell back a little bit. He is now in the 8th spot, so really not much change up here. Corey Silva gonna try to send it on Kelsey Rogers for 5th spot. Looks like he was now able to make the move stick, but he is well and truly there on the bottom side of the track. But Kelsey Rogers using that outside line to his advantage. We'll see if Silva can do something. We know he's still fast. We know he's hungry, probably hungrier than he was before that accident he was in, but not able to make the move stick right now.
Trying to get back up around the inside of Rogers. Worsler right there as Mitch Brown is in front of them. Sarah has gotten around Jackson back there now. So Sarah can begin trying to reel it in. Silva is just so strong at the entry to 3 and 4. Without a doubt, the 94 is the best truck on the racetrack in that one particular part of this facility. But this time he's really able to make it stick in turn 1. I think he's going to clear Rogers this time. Yes.
Great move there. Was able to kind of dive it in there and 1 and really use that momentum to his advantage and keep his spot on Rogers there. So now he's going to go to work on the 29, Will Worsler, see if he can do something with him. Will Worsler doing a good job. He's running in. He started in 4th. Not able to do anything with Mitch Brown yet, but Will Worsler himself having a good run. He's going to have to deal with that 94 here in just a moment, I believe. Actually, Will's going to say, I'm going to look on the outside of the 51, but that's going to open the door for Corey Silva to get under him, and Corey Silva says, yes, I'm going to take that opportunity. Thank you very much. See what he does in turn 1. Can't drive it in very hard because Mitch Brown is there, but I believe he might have the spot on Will Worsler. Yes, he does. So move that number 94 up to 4th. Doing a great job to reel his way back up there, Greg.
Yeah, that 94 is on a rail right now. Far and away the best truck on the long run. Here, just inside 50 to go as he goes to work on Mitch Brown. Apologies for that one. In the 51.
Battle for the lead.
Taking a peek on the outside. Battle for the lead breaking out between Black and Mogard.
Yeah, Black was able to get under Mogard, but it looks like that he was not able to keep in the gas, but not going away anytime soon. Black looks like he's looking very racy right now with Mogard. We'll see what he can do. If those two start racing, that's going to bring the, Kelsey Rogers around in turn 2. Ooh, not sure what happened there, but he is up around, and I believe he got in the wall just a little bit, but looks like everybody was able to get around him.
Not sure what happened. Here we go, taking a look. He got a run on the inside of Mitch Brown. Oh, contact between Brown and Rogers. Wow, Jenkins did a great job to get through, as did Seville in the 11. Pelican get squeezing through there as well. Wow, 3 trucks squeezing through. What happened here?
Yeah, looks like Silva and Brown were just racing, and you saw it right there. Kelsey Rogers just kind of made a bit of an optimistic move there. Not too much room to make anything work, but he tried it, and really it kind of didn't work out for him. But either way, he is going to be just fine. Spun out, going to get new tires on the truck, and everything will be good. There was a truck width of a lane up there in front of his nose next to the wall, and that was it. And so it's a good job that everybody was able to get around him. Pit stops here. That was a pretty long run, so I have to think that everybody's going to go ahead and take 4 tires and fuel here. No fuel considerations needed for the end of this race. We only have 45 to go, so we're very much in the clear for that. It's going to be all about tires and having a bit of a shootout to the end here.
All right. Do you think we've seen the last of the cautions? Because I don't.
No, I do not. Especially with the way that this race has been. A lot of good racing up here, and you got to think that it's just going to get a little bit rougher as we get to the end, because guys are going to start making more desperate moves, and we're just going to see a little bit more of that. But Evan Black was able to beat Jared Mogard off the pits, it looks like, so that's going to be a very good thing for him. Jared Mogard probably not too thrilled about it, but either way, that might change the complexion of this next run just a little bit.
So Black able to beat Mogard. So 44 laps to go. Mogard has been in the lead for a majority of it, but we saw how quickly that 00 truck was able to negotiate traffic. So I don't think Mogard's sweating that just yet. I think he's gonna try to just get himself back onto the bottom, and try to get a run at Black. And we've actually, now that I say that, think back, Mogard's been really strong on the top, so this might play into his advantage just as much as, say, having the preferred line start.
Yeah, I actually didn't think about that, Greg. That's a good point to make. He has been very good up there, so maybe it might work out better that he starts in second. But by virtue of starting in second, he's going to have that 94 of Corey Silva right behind him. He's in fourth, so going to have that car in his bumper again, who is very hungry to get around that 00, and definitely going to be a very interesting restart here.
Yeah, so this is going to be different because this is the first time all night that Mogard has been on the outside of a restart. So I'm curious to see how he's able to make it work with the truck up top at the get-go, because pretty much every start and restart of the night he's been on the bottom. I'm curious to see how this 00 truck handles the top on the initial go.
Yeah, very, very much, and the pace car lights are off, so we're going to double up here, but definitely going to be interesting to see how he does that. If we haven't seen that outside line be super strong on the restart, but we've also seen that 00 be super strong anyway, so maybe he can do something the rest have not been able to do, get that, kind of keep that truck wound up and do something. But definitely going to be interesting to see that. But these drivers are gearing up for one more restart. Greg, take it away.
So Black gonna lead the way, but Jared Mogard on the outside. How about Will Worsler up there in the 3rd spot now? He's done a great job fighting back from that initial problem he had on the start with getting that truck going. But here we go. Green flag is out, and what a start by Evan Black in the 92. And Worsler able to get around the 0-0 as well. Boy, we talked about how that 0-0 was going to handle on the outside in the initial start. The answer, not well. But here he comes with a crossover on Worsler to try to get back to the 2nd spot as we go on board on the gyro cam. We see Black come down to cut the runoff of Mogard, but just 40 laps to go now, and new leader up front in the battle for 2nd.
Yeah, and right behind this battle we saw here, the 51 of Mitch Brown got super loose off 4, was able to let the 94 of Corey Silva get a run on him, and I believe Silva has taken 4th from Mitch Brown. Yes, he has. So, very close there, that battle. You see from the back of Evan Black here, you see there was almost some contact there between Worsler and Mogard, but they were able to keep off each other, but definitely still side by side for the 4th spot as well with Mitch Brown and Corey Silva. So Mitch Brown not letting that 94 of Corey Silva. You see that right at the back of this picture, right behind these two behind Black. A lot of behinds there, a little bit of a linguistic mess right there, but Mogard able to clear Worsler, but here comes Worsler again on the bottom.
Yeah, did you see that crossover off turn number 2 by Worsler? Oh, Mogard got loose. I think he may have hit the wall off of turn number 2. That allowed Worsler to get his nose in front, but here comes Mogard back on the inside. Back behind that, Brown has cleared Silva. Now Mogard's turn to crossover into turn number 1. Worsler throws a block and gets a run on Black at the same time. What a move by the 29 to throw the block and
that kind of made Worsler miss his corner just a little bit, but didn't really hurt him that much. Ooh, bit of a almost a bump from behind. Almost a bump from behind from Mogard, but Will Worsler throwing blocks, and there he goes,
another bump. He's in the wall pretty hard.
That was short track racing right there, Greg. You got to think that was coming for a while with the way that Will Worsler was throwing those blocks. Of course, that's his choosing to do so. Nothing he did wrong there, but that's kind of what you got to expect in short track racing. I think he's a little bit upset by that. Looks like he might be coming to tell Jared Mogard that he was not happy about that move.
Yeah, that's short track racing at Richmond with 35 laps to go. You're in your best spot you've been all day. Worsler up in the 2nd spot, trying to get up there and catch Evan Black. He's doing what he's got to do to keep his position and try to get there. He gets it. Here's a replay. There you saw the hit to the wall by Worsler.
Yeah, he was definitely making Mogard's life hard there with the blocking in turn 1. You saw right here. Here's the replay. Took a very early entry into the corner and just kind of Mogard didn't really wreck him. He just kind of said that I'm not going to lift for you, and it's kind of what happened. So really, it could have been a lot worse for Will Worsler. He didn't spin around, didn't hit the ball super hard. The right side's going to be a little bit pancake, but it says Richmond, so I think it should be all right as long as the steering is somewhat straight. Another view from high above here. Ooh, I didn't even see that. John Jenkins was in it as well. He got he got involved in a secondary accident, and that was actually what the caution was for. It wasn't for Worsler. So wow, didn't even see that at the beginning. It looks like he might have had contact there with the number 20.
Yeah. Oh no, he's on the outside of Sarah and just gets loose. So last week's winner.
Yeah, might have just had a little bit too much rear brake dialed in that thing, and just round she went. But I think, wow, a lot of stuff going on here in this.
All right, so that's going to shake things up as a couple of trucks who were really contending up at the front at the start of this one, as Lee Staples currently in the lead.
Yeah, I'd like to just stay out on the racetrack. I'm not sure if he's going to actually not pit, but definitely, at least he's going to lead 1 lap. That is a point, so might just be doing that. Might just be coming in here to pit on this lap. I don't actually think he's going to. He doesn't look like he's going to, and no, he does not. So if he does stay out, that's going to be an interesting strategy for him. See how that plays out. he is the only car to stay out, so might not work out too well for him. But he's also higher up in the order than he has been, so kind of got to throw the dice here and see what happens.
And here's the thing, with the last round of pit stops being not too long ago, just before that last restart, he doesn't have as many laps as you would think on his tires, so he might be trying to make a run here. He might be thinking that, hey, there's not as many laps on my tires as you would think. He might be trying to make a run here with just 32 to go. If he can catch another yellow and everyone else pits, he might be in pretty good position.
Yeah, that's very true, Greg. We did talk about how tires were not such an issue here. Of course, he does have a disadvantage in having the oldest tires, but also old tires are not that much of an issue here. And really, the track has cooled off a little bit back to where it was near the start of the race, back down to 89. It's not 97, 96 degrees anymore. So pace car lights are off. We're going to be getting going green here in just a moment. Lee Staples electing to stay on the racetrack. He will be the leader. Going to take the bottom side. Jared Bogard going to be on the top again. So we'll see how that works. Evan Black probably thinking what he needs to do on this restart. If that 26 for some reason does not get going, spins the tires, or just doesn't get a good run through 1 and 2, he's probably formulating an escape plan. Mitch Brown as well. Corey Silva. All these drivers are thinking what they're going to do, because we are getting down to the end of this race. Pace car is off, excuse me, not the lights. The lights have been off. And Lee Staples bringing this down for a very slow restart. Ooh, we had 3 wide there with Mitch Brown. He was ready to go. I mean, Jared Bogard was not, and almost had some 3 wide there, a bit of contact, but ooh, we have a bit more contact there with Evan Black in the back of Staples, but we're going to be 3 wide here off turn 2, I think, or at least looks like 3 wide, but either way. Ooh, very close there with Evan Black. Contact!
Oh, no! Silva gets in the back of Black, and Black saving. Yes, but the caution is out. I was watching the run that Mogart got on the outside of Staples, and then bam! Black with a great save, but another contender with problems late.
Yeah, and that's just kind of the risk you take with staying out on old tires when everybody else has freshies, because they're looking to get going. They're looking to use those tires up, because we are close to the race. And Lee Staples, nothing to his discredit, he was going as hard as he could. It's just the tires would not hold up for him to do that. But either way, good job for everybody to really not make that a bigger accident than it could have been.
And what a save there by Evan Black. How did he not touch anything?
Bit of a NASCAR caution there, because did not ever spin the truck fully around, kept it going straight. But either way, he probably is happy it came out, because that's going to make sure that he doesn't lose more time than he could have. Will Worsler on pit road, so probably not happy with the way that truck is driving. He did hit the wall pretty hard, probably not too straight on the steering, but I believe we are going to have an interview with him in just a moment.
Has wave arounds going on, Mogard leading the way. And Cameron, while we got a quick chance, if you're the 26 of Staples, do you continue to stay out or do you pit? Because right now, I don't think we've seen the last of the cautions yet. And if you're Staples, you're up there with track position, do you stay out or do you kind of wave the white flag in a way and pull in?
That's a good question, Greg. I actually, it's not as cut and dry of an answer as I would want it to be, because Lee is not in the lead anymore. He's now second, but he still is probably higher than he was running before. I think he was running somewhere around 10th or 15th in that kind of area. But you kind of do run the risk of getting ran over again, because your tires still are a little bit less fresh than everybody else. But I don't know. I think he's going to stay out though.
As we get set to go green, let's bring the 29 of Will Worsler into the broadcast booth. Hey, Will Worsler, Greg Runs 3 White TV, got a copy?
Yes, sir.
So not exactly the second half of the race that you wanted with the way everything turned out. Running good up front, but then unfortunately some problems happened. Is the truck drivable, or are you kind of just trying to limp it home the rest of the race?
I want to see how much speed I can pick up. I noticed in that short green run we just had that I was lacking speed, so I'm going to see what I can make up for this pit repair, but it's not looking good. It never does when you get punted from third or second or whatever it was.
Yeah, definitely not the way you wanted this one to go. Having a good run and see it come up like that definitely got to be frustrating. But we'll let you get ready to go. But before we do, is we're getting set to go on the green. Will, real quick, last question. Do you think you can try to get up and maybe get as many positions as you can, or are you just going to try to finish this one out?
I mean, I'm going to try and see what I can do, but I don't want to be over aggressive and bring out another caution and ruin somebody else's race. So I'm just going to see what I can get here at the end.
All right, well, we're getting set to go green, so we'll let you go. Good luck. Bye.
Thanks, sir.
And Cameron, we're getting set to go back green. Pace car getting set to duck off. 24 to go when they take the green.
Jared Bogard gets a great restart. You saw him go very early, kind of left the whole field in the dust a little bit, about 3 car lengths to the number 51 and 26, who are side by side. Looks like 51, Mitch Brown, is going to have the advantage, going to be followed by Corey Silva through 1 and 2. He's going to want to get around that 26. He knows that he has a little bit older tires. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. There's Devin Serra. He has fought his way into the top 5. A great run that we were talking about him earlier. Ooh, very close there with the 26. I don't think that I think that the 26 was a little bit awry with Devin Serra there, but either way, no caution, no incident there. A little bit rough racing, but either way, up here at the front, Jared Mogard able to gap the 51 Mitch Brown a little bit. Corey Silva, we saw him racing with Mitch Brown a little bit earlier, got loose. Ooh, have some 3 wide here in the back a little bit. I believe that's Stallings, Rogers, and Lee Staples. Lee Staples kind of losing spots left and right just because of those old tires, but actually doing a pretty good job to hold on to what he does have as well. Caution out on the racetrack. Not sure what happened here. We'll have to go back and watch that.
Oh, ooh. Back here in the tag, Pelican and Jenkins get together.
Yeah, we'll see what happened there, but that definitely means that Jenkins' night has gone from very good to bad to worse. Very good. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Kind of the same thing that we saw happen to him earlier, just kind of lost it under braking for turn 1 and never recovered it. And unfortunately for Pelican, he was
taking another look at it. Identical spot right there. This time though, Pelican on the outside, nowhere for him to go. Wow, the 45 does a great job getting through there. But they just come to rest off turn 2. But what a man. Like you mentioned, it was such a good night for Jenkins. He was making so many moves at the start, and then just a couple different incidents identical to each other, and just like that, his night has really taken a downhill turn.
Yes, it has, Greg, but such is racing. You go from highs to very lows very quickly, and that's kind of why racing is the sport it is, because you can go from winning the race at Auto Club to having a good night here at Richmond, and that goes all awry in a very quick amount of time. But either way, one thing we did not take notice of during that caution sequence is the 94 Corey Silva. He is back in 2nd place. So I believe we're going to go ahead and talk to him real quick, see if we can get an interview with him. Corey Silva, Cam Rich up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. I'm sorry.
No problem, man. Well, we saw you kind of not spin, but brought out a caution, got loose there off turn number 4. Kind of lost a few spots, but you are back up to 2nd. So what is your plan to go up there and challenge that 00 with about 19?
Well, I raced him as clean as a whistle earlier, and I couldn't get by. So if it comes down to it, I mean, we're gonna have to win the race. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, definitely sparing no words there for what you're gonna do. But do you? I mean,
I'm not gonna wreck him, but I'm not good. But you can't. I mean, in all honesty, you can't pass on the inside. You can't pass on the inside here. if you want to get by someone, they're going to have to make a mistake, or you're going to have to get yourself by. So we'll see.
Yeah, we've seen him be pretty good on the outside, and you're going to be starting in his kind of preferred groove a little bit. So are you you think you can maybe nip him on this restart?
We'll see.
All right, man. Well, keep it short and sweet. We do appreciate that. We're going to definitely be watching you for the rest of this race, let you get back to where you were. But anyway, good luck, and thank you for talking to us.
Thanks, guys.
Well, definitely showing that short track racing is not very clean right there. He just kind of said that we're going to go out there and win this race, and not going to wreck him, but not going to play nice either, definitely. But kind of excited for this restart now.
Yeah, it's about as close to a called shot as you can get with 94 of Silva on the outside of Mogart. And how about the 20 of Sarah? 2 wins on the year, Martinsville earlier this year, and Texas as well. So he's up there in the mix as well. I would not count that 20 truck out just yet, or the 51 for that matter, as lights are out on the pace car.
Yeah, definitely not either of those 2 trucks, especially with the possibility of this restart being ugly with those top 2 trucks, Mogart and Silva. Definitely you don't want to see either wreck each other, but this is short track racing, and that tends to be a thing. But definitely going to be interesting to watch this restart, Greg.
16 to go at the line. Mogart leading the way, but Silva back up to second after his slide. Already going through the gears. Green flag.
Good restart there for Mogart, actually able to gap the 94 a little bit. 94 has to deal with Mitch Brown right below him, but able to drive it into 1. Look at that. He was able to kind of just get around Mitch Brown and say, I'm going to leave you in the dust. But here comes Mitch Brown again. He had to deal with Devin Serra for a little bit, but Corey Silva driving it so hard in the corner. He wants to stay ahead of that 51 because he wants to go challenge that 00. He knows he is as fast as him, if not faster. But Mitch Brown saying, I would like to challenge you as well. So definitely not letting him get anywhere, being a bit of a thorn in his side. And Mitch Brown looking like he can get up to second place. But Devin Serra right there looking to see if he can do anything with him, as well as Kelsey Rogers and Richard Stallings able to get up into the 6th spot. Not someone we have seen up here all night, but Corey Silva up here and Mitch Brown still going out. Devin Serra looking like he's going to go 3 wide. We'll see how I don't think this will work, and no, it doesn't. Devin Serra says, I'm going to have to pull in behind Mitch Brown. Mitch Brown able to hold on on Corey Silva, but I do believe he's going to clear him off turn number 4, and yes, he does. So move Mitch Brown up to second. Corey Silva not liking what he's seeing so far. He's going to have to deal with Devin Serra now, but Devin Serra gets the good run through turn 2. So Corey Silva is losing spots left and right. He's lost a spot to Devin Serra. He's lost a spot to Kelsey Rogers, and now he's under fire from Richard Stallings. So not going in the direction he wants to right now.
And a good run for Stallings in the 17, trying to get back. Oh, Maxwell with a little bit of a slide through 1 and 2 there in the 98. He's having another good run as he's kind of crept his way up into the picture at the end here. Oh, and saw the 92 of Evan Black putting pressure on, is now Silva going back to the inside of Rogers as Maxwell gets a good run on Stallings, bringing Seville and Black with him, so Stallings might be the odd man out.
Yeah, Stallings got in the wall a bit there off 4, and it kind of hurt his momentum, but he only lost 1 spot, so not too bad. Right in front of them, the battle's still raging on for the 4th spot between Silva and Rogers. Rogers holds it off, so Silva has lost really everything on this restart. Only 10 laps to go, so a tall uphill order for him to get back up there and kind of make true on what he wanted to. Both Rogers and Silva in the wall, so you know that both of those drivers are driving everything they have, driving the wheels off those trucks. Still the battle there for the 7th spot, Seville and Stallings going at it. Looks like Seville has the advantage, and now Stallings under fire from Evan Black, who was kind of involved in an incident earlier. He was a very fast truck early on in this race. And right there, I kind of want to make a note there. Lee Staples holding pretty good in the 10th spot right now, but some bump from behind from Giese. Oh my God, Giese all out of shape. Able to, nope, he's gonna spin around here off 4, and that might bring the caution out. Yes, it does. So that's gonna change everything here, Greg.
Tough luck there for Giese in the 77. 8 laps to go. We will have another restart. You see right there the dive in on Staples, and around he went. Tried to save it, did a good job fighting it, but just not to be had there.
Yeah, just tires kind of just stopped wanting to do their thing right there, and yeah, he was kind of out of shape into turn 3. Really, see there in the helmet, those eyes pegged open. Of course, this is iRacing; the eyes never close, but we're gonna pretend like they do. Definitely that truck was all out of shape throughout all of 3 and 4. Did a good job to not make that better or worse than it. Might have some pit stops here going on. No, we don't. Kelsey Rogers faking us out up here in the booth, or faking me out at least. Can't imagine that with 6 laps to go, you'd want to pit anyway. So. Yeah.
So just over 30 laps since the last time they were on pit road. So we will see. I don't think anyone's going to stay or come in at this point, Cam. I think this one is you run what you got because it's go time.
Yeah, I'm going to have about 3 laps to go on this restart. So really not too much time there to make any spots up, especially or even with fresh tires, 30 laps fresher than anyone else. But really, that's kind of going to play into this being a pretty crazy restart, because I do believe this is going to be the most laps we've seen on the tires this entire race on a restart. So that means that we might see some wheel spin, or maybe just somebody not going or having trouble getting through the gears. But definitely for that 00, Jared Mogard and Mitch Brown, they're going to want to get going as best they can, as well as Devin Sarah up there in 3rd, highest he's been all night. Started 27th, had some issues in qualifying, but definitely showing a good run and doing a great job so far.
Let's see if we can dial up the 51 of Mitch Brown real quick before we go in. Mitch Brown, Greg Runs 3Y TV, got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey, you're up there on the front row here for this final restart of the races. We're inside 5 to go. This could be your best shot at the 00 of Mogard, and you've got the line that he has preferred all day. You've got the outside. What are you going to do to try to get in front of that 00?
We're just going to drive it in as best we can and hope it sticks. The outside line really doesn't come in until later in the run, and I've been really good on the bottom, so I'm kind of disadvantaged for myself. But we'll just see what happens.
All right. We're going to let you get ready to focus. Looks like it's going to be a green-white checkered, so you're going to have 1.5 miles to get around Mogard. So we'll wish you the best, and we'll see how this turns out for you here at the end.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was Mitch Brown, driver of the number 51 on the outside front row as we get set for the final restart here, Cameron.
Yeah, and Mitch Brown really has shown that he's been very consistent tonight. Probably doesn't have the outright speed of Jared Mogard or even that 94 of Corey Silva when he was at the front, but been very consistent, very adamant in keeping his spot. He's been very hard to pass for anyone. So we'll see what happens on this restart. I think it's going to be a great one to watch. You're going to have to watch for both Brown as well as from the 20 of Devin Sarah. We're going to restart on this car actually. See what he does on the restart, and definitely going to be interesting to watch. Corey Silva behind Devin Sarah is kind of laying back just a bit there, but either way, Mogard gets a great restart. He was able to go very early on the green flag there, but Devin Sarah looks like he's going to want to get it around Mitch Brown definitely drives it into turn 1 very hard. I think Jared Mogard is loving what he's seeing now, side by side in his mirror. Ooh, a bunch of trucks all over the place on the backstretch. Just a couple laps to go here. I believe we might be getting the white flag at this time by. Yes, we are. So looking very good. Caution is out. Race is over. I believe Devin Sarah nipped the 51 of Mitch Brown there at the line, so I believe he's going to be your second place finisher. There's Ty Esther, 36, having some issues. Ooh, looks like that was a mess there.
You see the 82 bopping and kind of hydraulics almost on the 82 down the backstretch as you saw the contact with 45, but that's going to lock the win up for Jared Mogard. But that was a great battle there between Sarah and Brown. It's definitely a shame that we're not going to get to see how that would have played out. But we're coming to checkered flag now. And Jared Mogard is going to take home the Richmond victory in the ASRS.
Yeah, that's his second win of the season. Was able to notch the win at Atlanta, and now he is your winner here at Richmond. A great drive on his part. Was able to hold off the 94 of Corey Silva, who had a lot of speed all night. Silva had some issues there. Mogard was very fast. Started 6th. Was able to get the win. So what a great race, Greg. A lot of great racing all night, and that was legitimately very awesome to watch from up here in the booth.
Yeah, that was an incredible night of racing. It was great racing from the green flag all the way to the checkered. One of the best nights of racing we've seen on 3Y TV as a whole. It was a great night. There was definitely no clear-cut winner up to the very end, but at the end of the day, pretty easy to say that tonight was Jared Mogard's night, as you see him celebrating in some style here on the front stretch at Richmond.
Tearing up that grass, tearing up that pavement, burning down those tires, the rest of them up for what they're worth. Definitely deserved a great drive on his part, giving these fans here a show, and definitely that's nothing compared to what we saw on the track all night tonight. It made a little heart there on the racetrack. I don't know if you can see that on the broadcast, but those tire tracks definitely did make a heart. And some teammates there having some words. That's Jack Wells in the 80 truck. Had some issues early on this race. Finished 104 laps down, but good to see them doing their thing. We're going to get you some interviews here in just a moment, starting off with the 3rd place finisher, Mitch Brown, who we just talked to. And just hang tight. We'll let these drivers kind of get their thoughts collected and just have those in just a moment. All right, I've caught up here with the 3rd place finisher, Mitch Brown. Mitch Brown, this is Cameron Rich up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, we just talked to you just a moment ago, and you kind of said you were going to drive it off in there in the 1. Before I ask you about that, kind of just take us through your night in your own eyes. How did the race go?
Well, fine for me. I just kept my nose clean, just stayed out of everyone's business, and just kind of ran my own race.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it looked like in practice the setup was a little bit on the loose side. We saw a lot of drivers spinning out. Did you ever kind of encounter that during the race, kind of get that rear end a little bit?
Not really. I just I adjusted the brake brass a little bit from the fixed setup pad and played with the steering a little bit. And I only really got loose a couple times, but I just, it didn't seem that bad to me.
All right, well, I'm going to take you back to that final restart. You started on the outside of Mogard, was not able to do anything with him and actually got nipped at the line by Devin Sarah. Are you is there anything that you could have done differently to kind of maybe challenge that 0-0, or did you just do everything you can? And
I probably should. I probably drove it in just a little bit deep. I started sliding. I could feel the rear tires spinning just a little bit. Maybe if I took a little easier on corner entry, I could have had at least a shot at Devin at the line. But I'm not gonna complain. I got a P3 at a short track, and I got 0x, so I can't complain.
Yeah, very well. You did have a great drive tonight. Was very consistent all night. Not really running any lower than, I don't think, in the top 5. So very consistent night. But we do go to Dover next week, which is not a short track, but it is a track. So how are you looking forward to that race?
Oh, I like Dover. That's a good track for me. That's one of my favorite tracks on the schedule, and we had past success there, and let's just see how everything goes there. We're looking, we have a really good shot at winning there.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for talking with us, Mitch. Before we let you go, you got anyone you want to shout out real quick?
Just gotta thank everybody at 30 Bird Sim Racing. I think Jason Sterry's watching the broadcast right now. We miss Jason. Hopefully we can settle what the hell is going on with this league stuff like that. Sim Marketing Solutions. I got to thank you too. I got to thank Dunleavy's Truck and Trailer Prayer. All the sponsors. If I didn't name you, I'm sorry. I'll give you a call. I'll send you a nice bottle of champagne afterwards. But anybody that I didn't mention, I'm sorry. But and you guys, of course, for putting on the broadcast each and every week. You guys do a fantastic job with the race broadcast.
All right, man. Well, congrats on finishing third. Hope to talk to you again next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was your third place finisher, Mitch Brown. I believe that Greg Rentz has caught up with our second place finisher, Devin.
Oh. Yeah, Devin Sarah, Greg Rentz, 3xTV, got a copy.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Devin, kind of an up and down night for you. You started all the way in the back at 27th, get your way up to second at the end in a great battle with Mitch Brown. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but first, let's talk a little bit about why you're starting so deep in the field. What happened on your qualifying lap there?
I just bluffed it. I ended up getting a little bit loose into turn one on the first lap, and the second lap hurt the wall a little bit there, so I just decided to start in the back. But not too much of an issue. Last year I started in the back here and ended up getting the same result I did here. But I just kind of went into the game plan of I'm going to start in the back and worked my way up to the front slowly and hopefully stay out of trouble. I had a little close call early in the race, but we got through that and I was able to slowly make my way up through the field.
Yeah, and you did a great job of working your way through the field slowly but surely and getting yourself up into the mix at the very end. Tell us a little bit about negotiating traffic at this racetrack, because this is a track that it's pretty difficult to pass, and to go from 27th to finishing on the podium in 125 laps, not an easy task at all. So tell us a little bit about negotiating traffic at this racetrack.
Yeah, well, early on, I was kind of just focusing on following the lines that were working out, whether it was the outside or the inside. And a lot of guys would get side by side and sort of just work it out. And I just picked whatever lane was working best, and that ended up working out for me, getting up to the front. I missed a few wrecks there, too, so that got me a lot of positions early in the race. And then once I was able to get back into the top 15, I slowly worked my way to the top 10, passing guys. Pit crew got me a few spots as well on some of those caution flags. So it was really cool for me to go through the field, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed actually starting from the back there and being around guys I'm not usually around too much, but always cool to get a lot of action going on, whether it's 2 wide, 3 wide, or whatever.
And a lot of action, especially there on that green-white checkered in the battle with Mitch Brown. Tell us about that, because you were starting second row inside. We were actually on board with you at the start, and Mogard kind of checked out, and that opened the door for you to get up alongside the 51 of Brown, and you guys had a great battle on the last lap there.
Yeah, well, on that restart, I was kind of having a game plan to time it with Mogard, but I wasn't sure when he was going to go. He was kind of mixing up his restart jumps all night, so I wasn't really too sure about what he was going to do there. But it was a decent restart for me. I got right next to him going into turn one, and I was able to just pull ahead just a little bit, but it was kind of disappointing not to be able to get up with Mogard. I kind of knew he was going to be gone there once he jumped ahead of us, but it is what it is, and you know what? It was a solid result for us in the restart there. Luckily, the last few ones actually are really nerve-wracking for me, and I was able to get through those okay and just stay in the race and get to the end, and we did exactly that. And was able to battle with Mitch there to the caution flag, which was a really, really untimely caution flag. I can't believe it came out when it did. I thought we were going to go one more lap, but it is what it is. It sucks to finish second to Mogard, but he got the best of us tonight, and I just didn't have a chance to get up to him. So, solid result for us tonight. Not too bad for coming all the way back from 27th. I think that's a lot to improve on and think about going forward.
Yeah, and you mentioned it right there. Another solid finish for you in the state of Virginia. Another podium to follow up with the win at Martinsville. I know the guys on the truck are going to be happy, and I know you want to give them a shout-out. So here's your chance. Who you want to give the shout-outs to?
Yeah, I just want to thank all my supporters, the Snowmobile Racing Youth Group, my friends at Super Sled Online. I want to thank the Baskins brothers, my teammates, Danny Rogers, Pete Baskins, Robbie Baskins, all the guys that I'm racing around in this series, giving a lot of room. Corey Silva, Mitch Brown, making this league fun to be a part of for the time. And we're going to focus on the next race. To go from back-to-back wins in the last 3 races at a top 3 in each one, and 2 of those being wins is really cool. So, it's really cool for us to get finishes like that. And, even after taking a week off at Auto Club, I was come back and get a good finish and keep myself somewhat in the points. And, just going to look forward to the next race and see if I can improve on this finish. So, really good night for us overall.
All right, well, we'll let you go celebrate that second place finish. Congratulations, Devin, and we'll see you next week at Dover.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And that was second place, Devin Sarah. And Cameron, you've caught up with race winner Jared Mogard in the doubles.
I have Jared Mogard. This is Cameron Rich on the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man. Well, wow, what a performance by you. Good race there all night between you and the 94 there, but you came out on top. Kind of just take us through the race in your eyes. How did it kind of go from the start?
Yeah, it went pretty good. We got up to the front there, and then, me and the 94, we were having a good race there. I don't know, we caught a lap car there, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if we had trouble with the lap car or what happened, but I think he spun, and then we kind of took over from there. Had battles with the 92, I think it was at times, and then toward the end there with the 51 and the 20. So it was a fun race.
Yeah, it was very fun to watch from up here in the booth. We saw you kind of got into the 29 there of Warsaw a bit. Was there a bit of a retaliatory bump, or did you just kind of was he just kind of just circumstance?
Yeah, just racing hard. I got a good run coming out of 4 there down the front stretch, and went to his inside, and he kept coming down, and I was doing my best to stay to his inside, and then by the time we got to the corner, we kind of met there. So I don't know. It's short track racing when you're blocking like that, and if you're blocking, you put yourself in that risk, and when you're racing hard for a win with under 50 to go, you're gonna have that at a short track.
Yeah, you're very right about that, but either way, it is good for your point situation. You were the leader coming into tonight by 36 over Jim Foose. That should go up by quite a bit. You did have max points leading most laps and getting the win tonight, but we did go to Dover next week, so how are you looking forward to that event? Not a short track, but definitely a track.
Yeah, I like the place. It's same thing, tire management. You really have to be careful with your tires, because if you go too hard, even for a lap, your tires are shot and you're going to go backwards if you get a long run. So, tricky thing. You just save your tires and keep it out of the wall on the next to both corners, and probably going to have a pretty good night. So, looking forward to the challenge next week and try to go back to back. There was a long drought up until tonight.
All right, Jared. Well, thank you so much for talking to us up here in the booth. Congrats on your win. Before we let you go, you probably got some people you want to shout out.
Yeah, thank you guys. I gotta thank iBuyPower Computers, TDS Internet, Nick Coffman Racing Graphics, and Twitchy Race Reports, and all the boys back at MLSR. And we'll get it figured out here. The rest of the team. Titus had a good run tonight, and the other 2 were victims of a wreck or whatnot. So we'll get it sorted out and get back to where we need to be, and keep plugging away. I just thank you guys for the broadcast, all the fans for tuning in, and Jim and everybody at ASRS, all the sponsors that make this deal go.
All right, very well, Jared. Well, go celebrate your win, bud. You earned it. Congrats on getting that.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
That was your winner, Jared Mogard, leading the most laps tonight in 88, but capturing the win and extending his points lead. But we should have some results for you in just a moment. All right, well, Jared Mogard capturing the win tonight, as we just talked to him. Devin Sarah coming home in second, Mitch Brown third, Corey Silva fourth, Kelsey Rogers fifth, Sam Maxwell coming home in sixth. The series sponsor, Evan Black, not able to regroup from that issue he had, coming home in seventh. Tyler Saville in eighth, Richard Stallings coming home in ninth, and Lee Staples, I think that tire call he made working pretty well, capturing a top 10. Greg?
Rounding out, or starting, I should say, the rest of the top 20, Tim Knott in the number 41 with Jim Foose coming home in 12th. Lucky 13 goes to the 24 of Alan Young with Alexander Pelican in 14th. Dan Deffler rounds out the top 15 with Chris Titus, Nick Curling, Will Worsler, a tough end for such a great day that he had at the start, with Edward Bray and Jamie Moore rounding out the top 20.
21st, the 69 of John Jenkins, last week's winner. We talked about the highs and the lows of racing. Definitely seeing the lows tonight for him. Not the run he wanted. 22nd, Alex Giese. 23rd, Jared Haggerty. Pete Baskins in 24th. Ty Hester coming home in 25th. Jack Wells 26th. 27th is Brandon Krutz 28th. Christopher Lane. Steve Bahala coming home in 29th. Andy Veltman in 30th. And Nick Coffman rounded out the field in 31st. But that's all we have for you tonight. And from myself and from Greg and Carlos, we do have some sponsors we want to thank that make this league go on and on, like the Energizer Bunny. I want to thank Sam Maxwell Customs, the league sponsor, or excuse me, series sponsor. Sim Marketing Solutions, Driven Designs, Twitchy Race Reports, iRacingiFlag, Kirkwood Transportation, Coffman Racing Graphics, and last but not least, iRacing itself. But from myself, Carlos, and Greg, once again, we thank you for tuning in to 3 Wide TV. Definitely come and check us out next week here for more ASRS action. But that's all we got for you tonight. I hope everybody has a good night and stay awesome.